What's going on, everyone? Hope it's been a great Thursday morning. My morning started off super early as normal. Had a great coffee meeting that started at 7, went to about 8:30, and now back up at the office. You see my oatmeal and protein stack over there. Have a few meetings later, but I get asked this question a lot from people, just getting started, and it's, well, how do you buy a house? Not how do you buy 100, not how do you buy, 100 a year. I want to emphasize that, you have to start from somewhere. You're not just going to jump in and start buying, 3, 4, 5 houses a month. Like, that's probably not going to happen unless you're just dumping an unreasonable amount of money into marketing with not really caring what return you're going to get. And that's the complete opposite of what you should do. Whenever I got into real estate, we started off buying 1 house a month, then we went to 2, then we went to 3, now we're closer to 10, but you have to start at the fundamentals. So I get asked all the time, like, what would I do if you were starting from scratch today? If you were starting completely over, how would you buy that very first house? And the reality is that here's what most people do. They'll go out and they'll buy a list of 5,000 names, of 2,000 homes, whatever it is, thousands is my point. They'll run a batch skip trace, and then they're going to go through each person on the list, maybe through a text, through a phone call. They'll get a hold of a few people on that list, and that's it. They never pick up the list again. They're done with the list. They forget about it. They forget where they save it. They don't take good notes on the people they did and didn't get a hold of, and then it's just a huge waste of money and a huge waste of time. Or maybe they get lucky and get one off that, but that's not what you should do. The reality is, if you're looking for your first house, okay, you need to be specific about the area. If you're going into cookie cutter houses that were built 2 years ago in Bixby, good luck. That's going to be really difficult. You got to go where there's people with problems, not houses with problems. And usually those two are intertwined. So that means, yes, the further north you go, the better. Sapulpa, it's going to be better than Bixby. You're going to have a higher hit rate. You need to go where people have problems and there are actually dilapidated houses. You need to pick one neighborhood, not a list of 1,000, one specific neighborhood of 50 to 200 homes. And I know that list may sound super small, but if you're in the right neighborhood with motivated sellers, with houses that need work, it won't matter. Okay, so again, you're going to a specific neighborhood, 50 to 200 houses. You can either pull a list. There's lots of different ways to do that. List sources, probably the most popular. You could use PropStream, or you could use a Driving for Dollars app like Deal Machine. They all work. It's just what works best for you. I mean, you want to pay a little bit more and just pull a list blindly, or you want to drive around and actually drive for dollars with an app like Deal Machine. Completely up to you. But 50 to 200, and then you're going to cold call using, you get everybody's number through a batch skip trace. They all work the same. I use Skip Genie. There's no difference. Get a hold of everybody's number. Then you're going to call and every single person on that list. So you have 50 names. You're going to call all 50. And let's say you get a hold of 10, okay, and they're not interested in selling. You still have 40 left. You don't just discard that list. Like, your mission should be, you're not going to stop until you get a hold of every single person on that list. Now, sometimes it's impossible to get a hold of the person because his number's wrong, but the beauty about Skip Genie is you can look up relatives, you can look up neighbors. There are tons of ways to find somebody. So the people you have trouble getting a hold of, that is your list, because that's the people that I have trouble getting a hold of. It's all the same people. If you get a hold of someone on the first try, the reality is that so did I. Okay? It's a person that, it's going to take months to find. Like, that is actually the motivated lead, and that's who you need to be focused on. So again, to reiterate, what most people do is they get a hold of 10 people on that list, and then they discard the list and say, I can't get a hold of the other 40. The other 40 is your list. Now, let's say, you cold call the entire list, you cold call again, and after 3 weeks you haven't get a hold of, let's say, 30 people at this point. Well, now send a cold text to all 30. Don't batch text, that's legal, but you can individually text all 30 people on the list. See if that gets a response. Send another text the next week. You still can't get a hold of them. Now start doing a deep dive on each of those 30 properties, looking up relatives. Call their kids, call their family. Try to get a hold of them that way. Do the same thing, cold call, cold text. Like, don't stop until you get a hold of somebody related to that house on the list so you know it's not a motivated lead. Don't just discard the list. Don't pull a list of 10,000 people. It's a waste of time and a waste of money. So if I was looking for my first house, that's what I would do. I would be very specific about the neighborhood, pull a small list, and I would focus on it every single day until I get a hold of every single person on that list. Thanks, everyone. If you have any questions, let me know. Send me a DM or leave a comment on the videos. Thanks, everyone.